Welcome along to episode 844 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. Coming up on the show this week, we're joined by Caitlin Moran, who's going to let us know how you could vote for people who work in the arts in our city in a brilliant award ceremony recognising people. This has been put together by Sky Arts. We'll be hearing from Codsall Dramatic Society about their autumn production, which is Calendar Girls. We talked to the team at the Hygiene Bank and Small all about how they're looking at putting laundrettes into schools to reduce hygiene poverty. Charlotte Jackson Coleman is along to let us know about her film Secrets. And we'll be talking Calamity Jane with Vinnie Coyle. He is due to play Wild Bill Hickok at the Grand. However, we know he had a little bit of a bump having followed him on social media, so he may be off ill. However, fingers crossed, hopefully he gets well soon, and we do get to see him at the Grand. That's all on the way on the show this week.
Welcome to the Milk Bar. 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 Welcome to the Milk Bar.
Now it's time to celebrate the unsung heroes of the arts world. Somebody who is a suitably sung hero in the world of arts is Caitlin Moran, who joins me now. How you doing?
All right, Babs, how you doing?
All right,
I'm really interested to see how quickly my Wolvo accent comes back talking to you, because I assumed this London accent as soon as I moved down here, but within 20 seconds of talking to someone from Wolvo, it tends to come back, Bab.
We talk proper then, don't we? There we go.
Right.
Right, we'll try and keep an air of decorum about you in the meantime. But I know that there's some brilliant work being done in the world of arts, but actually we still see to a quarter of people seeing themselves represented in the arts. That's it, 26%, no more than that. And it's worrying when people feel disenfranchised from what is the feel-good part of being human.
Oh, God, totally. I mean, I can remember saying, I was brought up on the Warstones estate in a council house, and I can remember, I'd sit there, be watching telly, watching the films, and just going, I want to be part of this world, but how do you get to there from Wolvo? Like, kind of, how do you get in? Like, kind of, what's the door? What's the ladder? And that's why things like this Arts Hero Award that Sky Arts are doing are really good, because it just reminds you there is stuff in your local area. There is arts happening in your local area, and you can get involved.
Yeah, because when we feel the report is telling us inspired at 29%, joyful at 30%, and connected at 23%, that's a big gold chunk of what the arts can do for people. And whether we see that meaning our lives are reflected in the world of art itself, or whether we get an aspiration from that, all of this works well.
Oh, it's worth remembering the arts goes two ways. First of all, there's just enjoying the arts. So, for instance, I spent all this summer, as many people will have, going to festivals across Britain. And there's this lovely fact that someone told me when we were down the front watching Charlie XCX, which is that within 3 minutes of you joining a big crowd at a gig or a festival, everybody's heartbeats synchronize. So you become part of one big organic mass, which at the age of 50 in perimenopausal had me in tears. I was like, that's so moving. But we also forget that the other part of the arts is you can get involved. Like, we tend to think of the arts and the creative industries as being like the glittering 1% of glorious attention-seeking buffoons who are famous, the kind of the actors and the pop stars and stuff. But 99% of the creative world is people behind the scenes who are actually making things happen. And so for instance, in the Wolvo area, you've got there's the Grand Theatre, there's the Art Gallery, there's Wolverhampton Arts Centre, there's the Robin. And there will be people who work for those organisations who you could nominate right now, listeners, for the Arts Hero Awards from Sky Arts, and give them their moment in their spotlight they deserve. And this could be anyone. Like, the jobs in the arts are so varied. Like, kind of, you could be an electrician, you could be a roadie, you could be box office staff, you can be a bartender in a theatre, you could be an animal trainer, set designer, a wig maker. This is the part of the arts where you can join in whatever your talent is.
And I think as well, I mean, it's part of the arts not being a way to escape an area either. It's an escape for you where you are from, what a lot of what day-to-day life brings. And these people that could be nominated are the practitioners who can make your world special and shiny and joyous.
Oh, 100%. Like, humans, so much of life is just about paying the rent and looking after people. And like, the arts is there to play, whether you're just watching telly, you're reading a book, you go to a local play, you go to the art gallery, Wolvo Art Gallery. I can remember seeing that Roy Lichtenstein that was in there going, this is a really famous picture and it's in Wolvo. This is amazing. And just to give an idea of like how widely the arts sort of operates within our communities. Like, so this is the Arts Hero Award from Sky Arts, the people behind the scenes that are unsung. Last year's winner was Sally Spencer, and she's in a group called Ex Cathedra, a singing group. But she's also a children's leukemia nurse at Birmingham Children's Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And Ex Cathedra brings services and well-being to people who are ill. So, for instance, children who are really vulnerable and in protective isolation, they can't socialise, but by singing, their voices can be joined together with other people, and you can feel like you're part of a community, even if you can't physically be with people. And Ex Cathedra also work with do singing sessions for people who are under end of life care and for adults who are affected by stroke and dementia. So that's one of those moments where you realize, oh, the arts is everywhere. It's even happening in hospitals because of arts heroes like Sally Spencer, who go, I could bring the arts into a hospital and it can provide something that medicine can't. We can have play, we can have joy, we can have release, and we can have a moment of feeling something more than just our physical bodies and our problems.
Absolutely, and whether you maybe look at nominating the team behind the Dementia Cafe at the Grand, or possibly the Arena Grand Partnership, which is inspiring kids to get into the world of theatre, or at least build the confidence that the world of theatre can bring them, that they then take into other areas of their lives. All of these things make such a huge difference.
Oh, totally. And just that feeling that you can join in, like kind of, it's always just risky. I can remember the Grand Theatre put on a production of Annie in about 1985, and there was an advert in the Express and Star saying, asking for children to audition. And I called them and went, I think I could play Annie or one of the orphans. I'd be really good. And a really lovely lady at the end of the line just went, well, what's your dance experience? And I went, none. She went, what's your singing experience? I went, none, but I've watched the film 10 times. And she was so lovely. She was like, maybe you couldn't audition for a lead role, but like, if you want to like come along to the theatre and like see other jobs that you could do, like, you know, we'd love to have you along when you're a bit older. And that's the spirit of the arts that I love. Like kind of there is always a role for you if you want to be taking part in something that's playful and joyful and part of a team. Even if you're not front of stage with the spotlight on you, there's a role for you in there somewhere, and it'll be the best experience of your life.
Yeah, and spotlight operators are hugely talented people, so it could be one of them. So yeah, just being able to do a follow spot is awesome.
Oh, spotlight operators have all the power. My dad used to be a spot operator at the Grand for a while. His brother got him a job there, and he was just saying if there was an actor I didn't like, I'd just make sure the spot trailed a bit, so their face was always half in shadow. So they were always nice to me after that. So they've got all the power, the spot operators.
So where can we go to nominate and possibly see an award winner from Wolverhampton?
Yep, you need to just go to skyartsawards.sky, and the eventual winner will join all the great and good at the Roundhouse in Birmingham on the 16th of September to get their hugely deserved award. And it's a great night out. Like, even if you don't get to go to the awards yourselves, it's on Sky Arts, which is free to watch. And it is no shade on the BAFTAs or the Brits. It is the best arts ceremony of the year because it's got everything. You know, you'll get to watch the best of opera in this country. You'll get to see poetry. You'll get to see literature, comedy, TV and film. And the after show party is extraordinary. I spent 2 a.m. at last year's one when I was in an alleyway with the historian David Odashoga drinking very cheap cans of cider. So it's a good night out.
I'll have to see if I can be your +1 for that one. Caitlin Moran, screenwriter and author, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Cheers, darling. Take care, Baba.
With Calendar Girls as their autumn play, the Codsall Dramatic Society are going to be impressing in all the right ways when it comes to the production from the 24th through to the 27th of September. Limited run, your chance to get yourself along to see, and they'll even be throwing in a calendar for a tenner if you want to go and support a charity too. I've got a gaggle of the gang here to tell me more about the show. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Right, okay, so who's going to do the rounds and tell us who we've got here?
So I'm Jackie, I'm playing Chris.
I'm Jane, I'm playing Celia. I'm Bridget, I'm playing Jessie.
Oh, I'm Kelsey and I'm playing Ruth.
I'm Gemma, I'm playing Cora.
I'm Sam, I'm one of the directors. And I'm Fiona, I'm the other one.
We haven't got Annie, who's being played by Lydia, with us, unfortunately, today. But yes, we've got everyone else here.
And this is a very female-led cast, which is it's good to see a show that's actually got great female characters who actually are really out to tell a story which is poignant, powerful, and something which impacts everybody's lives in some way or form.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's such a beautifully written play, and it's got so much heart, but it's also really, really funny. And at the core of it are these 6 women who just adore each other, but also drive each other to absolute distraction. And then there's this thread of cancer's almost like an extra character in the play. It just threads through the whole thing, but you see the beauty of it as well as the horrible side, the way that people bring themselves together to do something really beautiful in the face of this awful disease.
People from all walks of life as well,
Yeah.
different sorts of backgrounds, and you get to hear a little bit about their backstory.
Yeah, and see them hold each other up, really, which, you know, at its core, it's about a group of women holding each other up, seeing each other through kind of the darkest times as well as the happiest times.
Yeah.
And there's some important male roles in there too, as well. And I don't want to do spoilers on that one in particular, but it is important the interactions that you see there as well.
Can't feed each
I was going to say, absolutely. I mean, again, very different characters portrayed very well by the members of our society. And yeah, it's the interaction between the girls again. It's just very well written. A lot of humour in it as well.
It is. I think it's one of those plays that really does make you laugh and cry and kind of hold the people you love a little bit extra tightly when you go home at the end of the night.
And a challenge as well from both a directional point of view, a proper placement point of view, and an angle point of view when you're in a small-scale auditorium as well.
Pointing that out.
Anybody worried?
I'm not going to say anything about Jane pointing anything out at this stage, I think.
So we've got lots of buns.
There's a lot of buns, there's a lot of very strategic placements. And, but I think, again, it's really important that as a group of people, we really trust each other. And you need to have that when you're at your most vulnerable, when you're showing a little bit more than you would do normally. It's really important to have that trust and know that the rest of the girls on the stage and the boys on the stage are there to support you. So it's really important, I think.
But our audience are going to see more of CDS than they ever have.
It's just interesting how some people take directorship roles and then make others do their thing in this show. But
although I would say that both Fee and Sam appear in the calendar as well, so they didn't ask us to do anything they weren't willing to do themselves.
Well, there we go. Okay, tell us a bit about the calendar then, because this is alongside you doing the show. Alluded it to at the start, because this is raising funds for charity and a chance to pick up a calendar for 2026 and raise smiles as well as some money.
The calendar is for Blood Cancer UK. Originally, the original Royal Stone calendar, because obviously Calendar Girls is based on a true story of a real group of women who produced a calendar. So kind of a nod to them, and in their tradition, we're raising some money for Blood Cancer UK, which is what the charity that a lot of their funding and their money in the end went to has now become. And
of course, because they were all members of the WI, weren't they? Have we got any WI members in the in CDS?
No, I am budding one. I think I do almost all of the crafts that we talk about. So I'm a keen crocheter and sewer, so I'd quite like to join the WI, I think.
And has this inspired any of you to do anything else that ties in with the show, apart from, of course, nudity and calendars?
We're mainly sticking with the nudity.
Okay, I was just thinking cakes, but there we go. So there's all that. Yeah, it's the way it could work out. Well, I mean, good luck with it. Break a leg. Have a fantastic time with the show. Any other major highlights before we let you go back to rehearsals and enjoying your dressing gowns, which are keeping you toasty warm?
I think just come and see it. It's a wonderful play. It's so much fun, and everyone's working really, really hard on it. And we just want as many people to experience it as they can.
Tickets from the ticket hotline on 01902 267322. You can also get them online as well via the website.
You can, if you go to the website or to Ticket Source, Codsall Dramatic Society, they're all on there. If you see one of our posters around, you can you can press the QR code. Well, scan the QR code. If you press it, it won't do anything. But scan the QR code and it'll take you to the website. And you can also pre-book your calendars there to collect on the night as well.
So you'll be able to pick them up in good time and have them ready to buy several as Christmas gifts for 2026.
Exactly. Perfect Christmas gift.
Evening shows from the 24th through to the 26th. And then, of course, they're at 7:30. And then it's a Saturday matinee at 2:30 on the 27th. So lots of opportunities to come and see the girls and the boys from Codsall Dramatic Society in action. Although you do see more of the girls than the boys in this one, don't you?
You do indeed. Thank you.
Have a brilliant time with it. But say break a leg and we'll enjoy the magical calendar for the whole of 2026. So off for now.
Thanks, Jason. Bye-bye.
Now, somebody who you may not expect to see in a psychological thriller is the amazing Charlotte Jackson Coleman. Brand new production, Secrets, is out. It's tense. It's on Amazon Prime and Apple TV. And Charlotte is with me now to tell me more about it. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
All good here. But I mean, this is slightly disturbing, isn't it, for many people? It's one of those moments in their TV viewing where they will absolutely adore this, but they will be on the edge of their seats throughout.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. What one I did say to my mum, I had warned her, she watched it for the first time last night, and I said, it's not necessarily enjoyable, but it is good, meaning enjoyable in the fact that you say, like you say, because it's an intense psychological thriller. It's a cautionary tale, we sort of call it, where I play single mother Sammy, and it starts off with the brutal murder of Sammy's mother, which forces Sammy back to her childhood home and basically a place that she's been running away from for the last 20 years. She's been trying to avoid. And then she witnesses a chain of events that all seem related to her mother's murder and her. And Sammy goes on a downward spiral, which sort of ends in a very tense, dramatic scene.
I mean, this must be a difficult one to sort of to act, in as much as you've really got to put yourself through the ringer to display the emotions that your character goes through. And if anybody can do it, you can do it.
It was like, with the character research, I had to do, well, I always do, but a lot of background research. So you start off, and I always write a diary, and I start off learning about their life from when they're born to where they are from, because obviously you and me, we are how we are because of our past, and that's what shapes how we are. And I think if you know your character so well, you know how they'll behave if the script changes. And also a lot of the final scene, we were told we could improvise and, run far with what we wanted. And I think just knowing your character inside out, the director, Chris Norton, was brilliant. He would always sort of give me a few moments, because also to get into the very emotional scenes, I actually use my headphones, and I have certain playlists for different characters that will help me get into the sort of emotion that I'm needing. And he was brilliant at also like talking you through it, and all my acting partners were brilliant. So I think because acting is reacting and you're in the moment and you're both in it, that obviously really helps get the emotion as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, obviously, you're somebody who's in your other life as a presenter, probably had to step back from your emotion. So then when you moved into the world of acting, which I know has always been a dream for you, and you've just sort of found your feet completely. It's an about turn for when people who were in the past used to seeing you on screen.
No, it certainly is. Like you say, presenting, especially when I was doing like news presenting, you've got to be straight, sort of very straight with it, no emotion. If you're sort of talking about some, someone's passing or some horrible event that's happened, you've got to just keep your emotions out. So you kind of shut yourself off. But with acting, it's the opposite. You've got to really open yourself. You've got to be vulnerable and let the emotions go. And I've always been told, I think, by like my parents, you're so emotional. So I think it's probably quite good that now I'm being allowed to act. But yeah, I think letting yourself be vulnerable is a big part of it, because also myself, because it was out last night on the 19th, and we watched it on the bigger screen in our lounge, myself and my husband, because he's only watched it once. I've only made him watch it twice now. That's fine. And he was like, I don't know how you do it, how you sort of can cry in front of people or whatever it is. I said, well, you're not really thinking that. You're in the moment and things are happening and you're sad about it. But acting, you have to let yourself be vulnerable, otherwise you've got a wall up. Because obviously in life, I don't go around getting all upset. You do have a wall up. You can act more appropriately, like than everyone being over emotional. But it's a total contrast to what I did before.
Well, and one that say you really have shown your talent in, and that continues with this film. And obviously you're busy in this world of acting. What else have you got on the way in the near future?
Well, there's a romantic comedy, so totally opposite to Secrets, that hopefully will be filming in the end of the year. And then I'm also executive producing and going to be in, I can't really say much about this one, a drama which is based on a true story, but it's sort of going through legalities at the moment. We've got the person who it's based on right behind us. We had to have her involved and be overseeing it. Otherwise, I just don't think it's worth doing. It's a very emotional story that needs telling, but it's like many things in this industry, as you probably know, you can't really say too much about anything.
Well, we can talk a bit about one of our secrets because without giving away too many secrets as well. Because I mean, the rest of the cast is phenomenal here, and it includes the likes of Mike Dickman as well. I mean, it's an amazing lineup of people that you're just another amazing star in.
Oh, that's very kind. Yeah, like all the crew and the cast were brilliant. The crew was so good. Like I said, Chris Norton, the director, he's like this powerhouse. He's so enthusiastic, and all his positivity rubs off on people, because some of the scenes were in like sub-zero temperatures in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the night, in the cold night in January. And he's South African, and he is in his t-shirt and flip-flops. He eventually put a fleece on, thank goodness. But he's so positive about it that there was such a camaraderie in the team. And like you said, the rest of the cast, Mike's brilliant. I love doing my scenes with him, and he's obviously doing some great things at the moment as well. He's in Gandhi, a Netflix that's a show that's on soon. And Anna, who played my daughter, we had a great relationship. We really fed off each other. And Sean plays Detective Richards, and I loved my scenes with him as well. We kind of gave each other carte blanche, like we knew what was happening, but I really like it when you can be impulsive with someone, and you said obviously you have to like how you don't sort of go too far, but you can say like I'm gonna just sort of go in the moment, and you'd have a chat about it. You'd go like, yeah, that's fine. And so and Susan Graham, she was brilliant. Everyone was really good. Everyone played their part. It was all a massive team. Like we all know that you've got like the finished article, but everyone is important, just as important as each other, because everyone's made the film together. And if I don't think there's one weak link in it. And I think, as I said, the crew was so good and really positive. And Lizzie and Chris Norton, loved working with them. They were brilliant.
Well, it's haunting, psychological thriller. It's got so many different layers to work your way through. Like your husband, you'll have to watch it at least twice to make sure you get everything in there, and probably learn more about the characters as you go along and get to know them as well as the actors who played them.
For sure. He definitely noticed. Sorry, I was going to say he definitely noticed the second time round little bits that he hadn't picked up on before. So I think he probably enjoyed it even more the second time round.
So worthwhile getting that seat, getting the popcorn in, sitting down, enjoying secrets, and making sure you don't spill too much popcorn around during some of the most psychological tense moments. But it's available now, Apple TV, Amazon Prime. Check out all those details. I think it's going to be yet another amazing part of your career that there could well be awards for. Charlotte Jackson Coleman, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
More than 3 million school pupils across the UK are experiencing growing poverty-related hygiene issues, and this is stopping many actually going to school at all. To tell us more, I'm joined now by the CEO of the Hygiene Bank, Ruth Brock, and also by Spall's Suds in Schools lead, Hilary Strong. Good afternoon to you both.
Hi there. Hi, Jason.
So first of all, Ruth, give us a bit of the background to the research here, because 3 million pupils is a huge percentage of the school kids that are out there. And the fact that they are in hygiene poverty is a concern, a massive concern.
Yeah, it's really worrying, isn't it, Jason? And I think even more so for me is that those 3 million pupils we now know are together missing over 23 million days of school a year. So that's over a week of lost learning per child. And like any teacher will tell you what a dramatic impact that can have on a child's learning and progress. And indeed, the research bears that out, that the impact of children missing school because they don't have clean uniform, or perhaps because they haven't got soap or shampoo or toothpaste at home, is not only impacting their academic performance, it's also leading to bullying, to self-isolation, to many other kind of impacts in the classroom. And that's just not right.
And they say these issues are across the board. And even if you have got soap, if you don't have clean uniform, naturally it will build up odors and yeah, and dirt. And when it comes down to presenting well at school to avoid bullying and the like, alongside just feeling good about yourself to help you learn, these are all big things. And Hilary, the work that you're doing with the Suds in School program is actually able to make a massive difference here, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Jason. So we started the Suds in Schools program back in 2021. Now, small, a lot of your listeners won't know us. We're a very small, upstart kind of laundry brand. And one of the things we look at is kind of what's going on and what could we do better? What can we change for the better? And this is one area where we're just trying to have an impact. So we've been working alongside the Hygiene Bank, identifying schools where we know there's a lot of families experiencing hygiene poverty and raising money to put laundrettes actually physically into the schools to give those families access to machines, a washing machine, and of course, free small capsules to give them the detergent that they need to help the kids feel clean and as you say, ready to learn.
And Ruth, again, this highlights the fact it's not just necessarily about the cost of, say, a bar of soap. There's some families are still not able to get there, but even if you can afford that, the cost of running a washing machine is a big one, and that it's a sort of hidden cost, isn't it, that can make a difference.
Absolutely, absolutely, Jason, that's right. Is that actually laundry detergent, if you look at the kind of basket of goods that we all need to feel clean and sort of ready for the day, laundry detergent is one of the more expensive ones in that basket of goods. But as you say, it's not just about the one thing. You can't use laundry detergent to brush your teeth. You can't use shampoo to wash your clothes with. You can't use toothpaste or anything else other than scrubbing your teeth. If I count up the number of products that I used this morning to be ready, to feel professional and ready for this interview and ready to be online, I had a shower, I used shampoo, I used conditioner, I used face wash, I have makeup on, my clothes have been washed in laundry detergent, and that's before we even get to what I've done for my 4-year-old. Like, that basket of goods really stacks up. And as you quite rightly say, it's not just about the cost of the products, it's then about the energy costs that go with it in order to be able to kind of wash your kids' uniform. And sadly, for too many parents in this country, that is simply impossible through no fault of their own. And this is about the cost of living crisis really, really biting, about the impossible choices that people are having to make between putting food on the table, paying their rent and their energy bills, and paying for those basic hygiene products that we all rely on.
And Hilary, when it comes to small, obviously your product is much more a way of life for your customers. Those who are able to afford regularly being able to wash clothes at home are actually also looking at their impact on the environment too. And it's through delivery and packaging and the way in which, with the many detergents, you're either transporting a huge amount of water all over the place, or you're actually putting heavy weights which are moving around. And that's where the ethos of what you're doing, which sort of stems into the work that you're doing alongside the Hygiene Bank and this schools project, that really is all about what you're about.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, sort of small is all about challenging, and whether that's putting machines into schools to help give families access to laundry facilities, or it's challenging the use of plastic in packaging and being the first to switch into plastic-free packaging, or cutting back on chemicals, or trying to reduce carbon. Laundry is something that all of us want to be able to do the whole time. It has a huge impact. So trying to do that in a more responsible way is what we're all about.
And where can we find out more about your Suds in Schools program?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best place for listeners to go is the website. So that's small.com/marked absent. That's where all of the research that we've been talking about with Ruth is hosted. There's much more information there. And it's also a place where listeners can donate to the Suds in Schools program. So we're looking to get more laundrettes into more schools, and they can also nominate. So if any of the listeners are conscious of a school where they think they could really benefit from a machine, that's also a place for them to nominate a school to participate.
And of course, Ruth, the work at the Hygiene Bank is ongoing around this and other projects too.
Yeah, absolutely. And your listeners can find out lots more about that from our website, which is thehygienebank.com. But as you say, we really need to tackle the systemic issues behind hygiene poverty. But until we can get the government to kind of take action on that. My charity isn't waiting, and it's why it's so fantastic to work with amazing partners like Small, who, like us, want to take action to alleviate that misery of hygiene poverty today, while we campaign to end it for the future. And that's why this campaign has got this aspect of calling on the Child Poverty Task Force to specifically put hygiene poverty on the agenda, so that we can raise that awareness of this unique type of poverty with its unique impacts with those in power, and we can start to tackle it to end those systemic issues. Because in the end, my charity shouldn't exist. We shouldn't be having to run this campaign. This shouldn't be something that kind of Hilary and her colleagues are having to put all of that resource behind. This is something people should be able to do for themselves, but until we can make that possible, then it's amazing collaborations like this which are going to try and help those children to build a brighter tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, for now, Ruth Brock, CEO of the Hygiene Bank, and Hilary Strong, Small Suds in Schools lead, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Thanks, Jason.
Whip cracking their way into the Grand Theatre on the 9th through to the 13th of September is the cast of Calamity Jane, bringing this amazing musical to life. There, Wild Bill Hickok, Vinnie Coyle is with me now. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, mate. How are you? All right?
All good here, and rocking the facial hair, which is a requirement for your role.
Oh, tell me about it, right? It's one of those things. It was a part of the process, I suppose. I've had a beard for a few years now, which has worked for my casting, and it's always a process of sort of elimination on a job. Does it work? Does it not? But actually, it's quite nice for this one because it keeps my wife happy as well, which is lovely. So
works every time. But I suppose it's easier to have the beard and remove it when required, rather than trying desperately to grow one with biotin supplements and everything else going on.
100%. And you'd be amazed as well the amount of auditions where they require you to come in without facial hair or that kind of stuff. So it is pretty tricky sometimes, especially it's easy when you're in a show, obviously, because you have to have a certain look. But when you're sort of, or in audition season, as they call it, it is tricky because there's so many looks that you have to kind of, fall into. But it's quite nice, when you're sort of settled, and it's nice for me to sort of keep it maintained because it's a look that I enjoy as well, which is lovely. So
have you not considered stage left beard, stage right no beard, and turn your head round for the different parts?
It would be much easier for some things. I can tell you that. Young Vin, old Vin is what I call it. But it's also amazing at how much it ages you. Like having facial hair is I first had facial hair on a job when I did Cinderella, and it just seemed to sort of mature me in terms of sort of bring me into my casting type, which was quite nice. So, but yeah, no, it's one of those things that I feel so young when I don't have a beard now. I shaved it off for my wife. She's weirded out by it. I think she sort of looks at me and she's like, who's that strange man that I'm kind of that I'm looking at opposite me, bless her.
Well, let's leave the facial fuzz and get on to the amazing show, because Calamity Jane is an absolutely awesome musical. I know tickets are selling wonderfully well, and your Calamity Jane is an absolute star, isn't she?
She is indeed. Yeah, we've been friends for nearly 7 years. I think it's one of it's a beautiful. It's just lovely to have her on stage. And
but we've got to say Carrie Hope Fletcher is the important thing here. If you haven't checked us to the casting, because
it is,
amazingly talented. Somebody who it must be a joy to play opposite.
It really is, and it's really strange because Carrie is Carrie, obviously in the public eye, which is and through her incredible hard work and incredible talent. But it's first and foremost, she's a very good friend of mine, and it's lovely to have that trust. And on stage, when you look at the person next to you, especially with these characters when they're so closely entwined, to look at whether we're having a good day, whether we're having a bad day, something's happened off stage or whatever, we've got the trust of each other, and it's lovely. It really, really is. It's epic.
But does she enjoy the insults?
She doesn't get a choice in this one, I'm afraid. I'm quite lucky. I just get to throw them for free, really. But no, the banter's it's a great show in terms of that banter between the two of us, and there's a real fine line between me being a bit of a bully, which I never wanted to be, and playing that with the fun of the two characters, which are such epic characters to play.
And epic characters, amazing songs, and wonderful choreography too. I mean, this show, it's demanding, isn't it?
It really, really is. And it's one of those jobs when there was a few things that I didn't expect on this job. One was to dance so hard, which is with the beautiful choreography of Nick Winston, our choreographer and co-director, which is amazing to do every night and so uplifting. But also play the guitar, which when I auditioned for the job was not solely, something that I expected to be doing as Wild Bill Hickok. So it was I'd never played guitar before, so it was one of those things that it was quite nice to pick up on roots.
Well, you'd never played the guitar before, but was it on your spotlight listing of things you could do?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely. I wish I had a story to say it was. But no, it was one of those things. It was during the rehearsal process, which was pretty quick for this. They basically said, would I be willing to learn? And I said yes.
It's just choreography of the fingers, isn't it? That's what it is.
Basically, and it's once you learn it, it's intuitive. It kind of is, and I really find it quite therapeutic as well to kind of finish your show and have a little bit of a noodle, and also pick up another skill, I suppose, and it gives you a real good understanding and respect for the people that are really good at it.
So does this mean we got an album of cover versions by Christmas?
You might have. You might have. Keep tuned. Stay tuned, as they say, for the covers, the country covers of Vinnie Coyle.
I think that sounds amazing. I expect to see that on Spotify before you know it. So, the great show, great dancing. We've covered that bit off. The script's awesome. What is the not to like? I can't think of anything. The fact it ends after a while. That's the worst bit, isn't it?
Well, that's the lucky thing for us on this show is that it's it's a good length show because it keeps you engaged for long enough. I think it's the first act is an hour, the second act is 45 minutes. So it's snappy as well. So that, as whip cracking fun, I suppose, using the terminology of the show. But it's one of those things that I think there's something for everybody, whether you like Westerns, whether you like comedy, whether you like, proper MT, Golden Age of musical theatre, Doris Day, Howard Keel, whatever there is for you. There's something in this show for everybody. And it shows in the generations and the audiences that we've had in since the beginning, which has been amazing.
Yeah, you mentioned the fact it's a big film based on real people, and you've got all of that to contend with. But this really is going to bring every single moment. You don't need to have seen the film. You don't need to have read the history books. This is all there for you on a plate.
Yeah, it is. And that, going back, we looked at rehearsals quite a lot. I was very lucky, actually, just before the job. Total coincidence. I was in America for a family wedding, and I actually stumbled across where Wild Bill Hickok was born, in a tiny little town in America, and it's still very much like it was back in the the sort of late 1800s. And it's just an amazing place to be, like an amazing place to be. Like, people still pulling up their horses and stuff and tying them up at the side of the road, and it was pretty epic. And the two characters, or people should I say, the story and their history is amazing. Like, from when they first met to how Calamity was buried, it's pretty epic.
And which bit of the set or any of the props are you going to steal at the end of this to remind you of this amazing show?
That's a great question. I do love my guitar. My guitar. I think they'd notice if that disappears. I think the two things that I will really, really miss: the cowboy hat. I love my hats. Like, it's become an extension of me as a character as Wild Bill Hickok, and also my cowboy boots. My cowboy boots are like, they're proper nice lush cowboy boots. So
the number of shows you've done now, nobody else is going to want those boots, so you can probably take those with you.
That's very, very true.
They follow you.
They are battered. They are absolutely battered. So within an inch of their life, they've had about 400 different soles on. They're tried and trusted, and they're very comfy. So I'd recommend anybody that fancies a cowboy boot, try it out, because it's perfect for all things: dancing, jumping off chairs, jumping off pianos, playing guitar, you name it, you can do it in them.
Yeah, rocking the look, enjoying the moment, and having a great time with your boots on. And That's going to be a fantastic run of shows. 9th through to the 13th of September. Calamity Jane at the Grand. You've got to get in quick to get your tickets because they are selling so fast. 01902 429212 is the box office number. grandtheatre.co.uk to grab your tickets. And you can see Vinnie Coyle, Kelly Hope Fletcher, and the rest of the absolutely amazing cast doing their things, strutting the stuff, whip cracking away, and having a brilliant time with it. Vinnie Coyle, thank you for joining us, sir.
What a pleasure.
That's your lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining me back with episode 845 next week. I'll see you then. Ta for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.